The 1980s, a decade synonymous with ambition, wealth, and frankly, materialism. Enter the Yuppie, the young urban professional, a status symbol of success and excess. Today, Stud and I are going to explore the rise of the Yuppie lifestyle in the 1980s and its impact on our culture today. In the wake of the 1970s counterculture, the pendulum swung sharply toward materialism and ambition in the 1980s. The term Yuppie first appeared in the early part of the decade, describing young professionals eager to climb the corporate ladder. This book, the Yuppie Handbook, was originally released in 1980 with a re-release in '84 and quickly became a bestseller. Part gag and part guide, this book provided a satirical view of the lifestyles of well-educated, affluent young people who tried to have all of the best possessions. Fueled by economic growth, deregulation, and a booming stock market, Yuppies embraced a lifestyle defined by success and consumption, and their lifestyle was all about status symbols. Owning a BMW or a Porsche wasn't just about transportation. It was a declaration of success. Bonus points if your ride had a car phone installed. Preppy brands like Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, and Lacoste became essential, and no outfit was complete without a Rolex. Dining at high-end restaurants like Le Cirque, Tavern on the Green, and Windows on the World, attending exclusive events, and sipping imported wine were all part of the Yuppie image. Yuppies prided themselves on their refined tastes and willingness to spend big, even if they were faking it. I mean, you can't tell me every 20-something Yupster knew what wine paired well with what. Oh, and fun fact, my boyfriend at the time and I took a limo to New York City to have dinner at Windows on the World at the top of the Twin Towers on prom night in '85. So suck it, Yuppies. Anyway, at the heart of the Yuppie identity was the mantra, work hard, play hard. Long hours at the office and an intense focus on career advancement were non-negotiable for both men and women. Movies like Working Girl romanticized working like a dog, climbing up the corporate ladder amidst misogyny, and what was up with wearing sneakers with pantyhose? Why were our shoes so uncomfortable? And what about Diane Keaton's character in Baby Boom? She couldn't have a baby. She had a 12:30 lunch date. One of the most yuptastic movies of the era, in my opinion, was St. Elmo's Fire. While this movie was about the trials and tribulations of 7 recent Georgetown U graduates, the backdrop was definitely 80s excess, with at least 4 of the main characters trying their damnedest to curate and live that yuppie lifestyle. It was one of my favorite movies well into the 90s. I wanted to be Demi Moore's character Jules in the worst way, minus the coke and financial struggles, I guess. Speaking of movies, pop culture in the 80s both celebrated and criticized the yuppie phenomenon. Films like Wall Street showcased the relentless pursuit of wealth, while The Secret of My Success highlighted the dream of climbing the corporate ladder. But I guess it wasn't all work. Yuppies did try to find balance through leisure and fitness. Gyms became social hubs, and vacations to exotic locations offered much-needed escapes. If you didn't travel to at least one all-inclusive resort, could you even call yourself a yuppie? It was also de rigueur to belong to a private club of some sort, be it golf, tennis, or a country club where you can kick back, smoke cigars, and compare your business card with Paul Allen's. Advertisements back in the day also reinforced the yuppie ideal, promising that success and happiness could be brought with the right car, watch, or penthouse apartment. Even blasé-blah brands like Nescafe tried to cash in on the trend. And then there was perhaps the most memorable commercial of all.
So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
But of course.
Grey Poupon. It even has wine.
But the yuppie lifestyle wasn't without its critics or consequences. While their ambition and success were celebrated in some circles, the relentless pursuit of wealth often came at a cost. High-pressure jobs and the constant drive to climb the corporate ladder led to mounting stress, burnout, and strained personal relationships. Nothing a few white lines couldn't cure, or so they thought. For some, the quest for status and material success became a double-edged sword, especially as 1987 loomed. Overspending on luxury goods and risky investments left them vulnerable to financial instability. And face it, they would.
From there to Wall Street, where the numbers speak for themselves. Unofficially, the Dow stands at 1738.41, a drop of more than 508 points. Proof, as Alec Roberts reports, that the panic hit a fevered pitch.
From the opening bell, the market was in free fall. After last Friday's record 108-point loss, analysts had expected a rally. Instead,
it's a panic. Everyone's in panic. Everybody, we're trying to find a bottom. We're trying to, as a floor broker, I see stocks trading 10 points below where they traded Thursday, and I'm saying this has to be the bottom. And then they trade 5 points lower than that.
The 1987 stock market crash, known as Black Monday, served as a harsh wake-up call. Many yuppies who had built their lifestyles around the assumption of ever-increasing prosperity were blindsided by the sudden economic downturn. It not only exposed the risks of living beyond one's means, but also prompted a broader cultural reassessment of the values of excess and consumerism that had defined much of the decade. Sure, to some the yuppie lifestyle was aspirational, but it also highlighted the growing divide between the haves and have-nots, just the way they wanted it and liked it. Even though the yuppie era is long gone, its influence is still alive and kicking. These days, young professionals might lean more towards minimalism and eco-conscious choices instead of flashy materialism, save for some over-consuming TikTok influencers. But that same drive to succeed and create a balanced life hasn't gone anywhere. It's just evolved. Ideas like hustle culture and the obsession with personal branding are modern takes on the yuppie ambition, and the push for work-life balance shows we've learned a thing or two from their burnout stories. The yuppies of the 80s made a big splash and left their mark on our culture, shaping how we think about success and what it takes to get there. Their story makes us stop and think, how do we chase our goals without overdoing it? And how can we take their lessons about ambition and excess and use them to build a better, more balanced future? Thanks for joining Stud and I on this journey through the 80s. If you enjoyed the video, check out some of my other 80s pop culture vids. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more nostalgic explorations. Until next time, stay ambitious and inspired. TTFN, ta-ta for now.